Word this. Yeah, there we go. So I want to get you to think about your old factory, just going to keep that going. But what would your new factory look like in the world of AI and what I call hyperintelligence, which is another term I'll use a fair bit. So what would that business look like? So just in the same way, let's say if you had a taxi company, I'll just keep using that one as an example. You had a taxi company and we came to this meeting 20 years ago, same kind of meeting. And you said, okay, what would your new factory look like given all this new technology and everything? You might have thought of Uber. Okay. And you might have made $50 billion or something. So that's the opportunity you have here is to start with a fresh idea and say, what could that be? Okay. What could that be? And, there's no risk in thinking about it. Nothing. You're not investing any money. All you're doing is investing your imagination and your bit of time just to think about it. But it can get to be very, very exciting because you start thinking, well, in the world of AI, maybe we could do this instead. Okay. So once we have that big idea, then the next thing we do is, okay, well, how do I automate all this? So two things you can do. One is you can automate anything in your existing business. So that's okay. Like you can still use this technology for your existing business, but to automate it, so maybe that whole business takes half the time to run, for example. Now you've saved so much time by automating the old factory, you've freed up a fair bit of time and maybe a fair bit of money as well to devote to the future. Okay. So the first thing to do is just think, how can we automate? Now that's where most people stop. That is the only step that they're actually using right now. And so that's why I say it's a bit of a trap there because you don't want to end up like Kodak, right? They're basically automating the production of film in the world of digital photography. So, okay. So then the next thing is to innovate, is to say, well, how can I make new products and services or new kinds of things that I could make money from, right? Using this technology. And that's where it gets exciting now because I think, okay, well now I could start making some new kinds of money, new ways. So the big idea is typically a new way to make money. Okay, so I think like how could I make new money with this? So let's say you had a candle factory back in 1800s. They came out with electricity. Well, you could automate your candle factory with electricity. Or you can say, what's another way to provide light with electricity? And you might have thought of the light bulb or, got into the lighting business anyway, maybe got in on it with the, the whole light bulb revolution, right? So you don't have to invent the light bulb, but you might get in on that, right? You don't have to be Thomas Edison, but you get start lighting stores, build lighting stores or something, right? Whatever it would be. But you say that's the future. Okay. It's not candles anymore. And then the top one is the most important one ultimately, because that'll give you put you in the right direction really for a lot of reasons, but I call it Humanate. Okay. So you start thinking, okay, how can I use this technology to make life better for my customers first? Okay. And basically the way to think of it is say, how can I help them get a better result? I like to think the ultimate result is well-being. How can I help them get more well-being in some way using less resources, less time, money, effort, energy? And that is actually the whole point of AI when you start thinking about it. So every time, if you get AI to do something properly for you, it's helped you get a better result using less resources. So this AI is built for that. Okay. It's built to help you do that as long as you have that in mind. And then also, of course, to make your own life better. How can you do that? And that's very important because you could use this technology to make your life worse. It could actually turn you into a bit of a crazy person. And I've gone down that road a little bit because I get so excited about this and do so many things, kind of stressed me out actually quite a bit. So I've had to learn to kind of calm down and, just not go off in a million directions, just focus on what's the big idea I want to do and make that happen. Okay. So that's the model. And we talk about that more, but I'm encouraging you to think about it this way and start with the big idea. And the big idea, maybe the start there, is to think about who do I want to help? Okay. And then what's a big problem these people have that I want to help that no one's helping them with? So think of some kind of problem that they have. And there's so many problems that people aren't getting help with. So there's no end to it. Okay. And what's cool about this technology is then it makes it possible to provide that solution in a way that's good for them, you know, not too expensive for them maybe, but also profitable for you. Right. So that's where we're all going to be thinking as time goes on. We're going to start rewiring our minds around a model, this model or model like it. Right? So what we're going to build, or at least I'm going to build, and you can help me if you want, but along with what you're going to do, is what I call the big BBS. Okay. And the Better Business Super Hub. And now I really find this fun because back in 1989, I started an internet company, and I called it the Big BBS. Okay. So that was the name of the service that my company provided. The company was called Bishop Information Group, Big. And then I had this platform called the Big BBS, and it used bulletin board systems. So that was before people had the web. Most people didn't even have email. Even few people even had a modem. This was really early. And I created this platform using this technology called Big Bulletin Board System. So it's kind of like AOL or CompuServe, if you're old enough to remember those things. Anyway, I started that back then, and it was for small business people, and it was a place where everyone could connect together. And it worked out really well. It was a big success, and we got lots of publicity and thousands of users. Now it all kind of went away when the web came along, so it got disrupted by that. So then I kind of let that go and thought, okay, well, that was good. That was good for that time, but and moved into these other things I did. But that big BBS was always an idea in my mind that was a good thing for a place for all the business owners to come together and share resources with each other. I always thought that was a kind of a good idea. So when I was thinking about what I would do here with AI and what I would build this week, I said, well, why don't we resurrect that name, Big BBS, Better Business Super Hub. So that's what we're going to build. Okay. And so I've been, what I did last week was I started to get the AI systems to help me figure out what this would look like. Okay. And I had a fun afternoon because what I did was I got 2 iPads out, and I connected one of the iPads to ChatGPT, and I connected the other one to Google Gemini. Okay. And both of them I could just talk to, and they could actually talk to each other. That was kind of the point. So what I did was I got both in there. I said, ChatGPT, you're going to be advisor 1, and Google Gemini, you're going to be advisor 2. Okay. Everybody understand that? And they said, yeah, we understand that. Okay. And then it was like having a meeting, right? And then I said, okay, well, I'm just going to tell both of you what I'm planning on doing, and I'll just explain it to you like for about 10 minutes. And of course, I want you to record that, but then I want advisor 1 to start and just tell me what you think about that. If you got any ideas, good or bad, about it. So when I was finished talking, then ChatGPT started talking, right? And just before he did that, I said, Google Gemini, just advisor 2, just listen to advisor 1. So then advisor 1 went on about it, good ideas. And then I said, well, what do you think of what advisor 2? What do you think about advisor 1 said? And then advisor 2 started talking and critiquing advisor 1 and building on that. And I said, okay, now I want you both just to talk to each other about this. I'm going to go and take my dog for a walk. And when, I'll come back and you can tell me what you've come up with. So they were talking away, and I took my dog for a walk around the block. I came back into the office, and they were still talking to each other. And then I say, okay, well, let's synthesize now everything you said. And we kept working on it, and then we came up with essentially the architecture for what this would look like. So the first thing that I've learned about this, well, two things actually. One is that you can use the AI to actually work on your idea. Like it can help you with the big idea itself, right? And help you work out the structure of it. And the second thing was you can use more than one, and you can actually get them to work with each other. So that was really, really funny. I thought it was funny. It was also like kind of wild. So and the ideas they had, were really good. They had a lot of good ideas. I had my own. I was still in charge, of course, but they came up with some really good additional things to say about it. Okay, so what it's going to look like is this, and this is a blueprint. Let me just change my aspect there. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. So the first tool I'm using here. So I'm going to show you probably hundreds of AI tools during the week because what I'm going to be exploring is, are there other tools that I should use that will help me with this? Okay. So it's good because I've got kind of a direction now. So I've got a purpose for these tools. So anything that I can discover that might be helpful, I'm going to be able to apply here. Okay. So this is the structure. It's at the top, it says the big BBS, but the structure of this idea is primarily one, it's a platform. Okay. So it is a hub. So analogy that I've used with a lot of people and in my presentations is that it's like an airport. So a traditional business is like running an airline. But the opportunity you have in this world we're in now is to create a business that's like an airport. It's like a hub, right? They call airports hubs sometimes. But it's a super hub. So I don't just want this to be some regional hub, right? The airport. I want this to be the airport, right? I don't know. What's the biggest airport in the world? I don't know. Chicago Airport, Atlanta Airport, I guess maybe. Probably somewhere in Asia, but the biggest airport possible for business owners, okay? Entrepreneurs and business owners, which most of you are, okay? So part of this too is that you'll be able to see how this all works by, if you want to, you can actually join this when it gets set up during the week, and you can try it out, and you'll be members for free forever. Like all of you, anyone that works on this with me this week, and just joins it, and we'll see what happens. You're going to be guinea pigs, but you'll be a member for free forever. You'll never have to pay anything for this. Okay, so that's the deal. If you want to do that, so the big BBS, at the heart of it, and I'll talk about the middle one. I call it the big BBS super brain. So the first thing about this technology is that it's all about intelligence. It's all about data and what you can do with that. Okay. And then I call it wisdom scaling. There's a video I had on the email, but I can send you a link to it if you want. But it's based on the principle of wisdom scaling. So at the heart of this is a super brain. Okay. And all the users in this hub contribute to that super brain. Okay. So if you're going to set up an AI business yourself, at the heart of it, you're going to want it to be like a brain that the AI is the brain, and it's using all the data that's being generated by this platform to learn and do all kinds of things. Okay. So that's the first thing that's got a brain. Now on the left side, that's the network. So the network is what business owners can join. Okay. And they can join it for free, and they can come to events and so on and get access to a lot of the information that's in this platform for free. So it's kind of like LinkedIn or something that way, right? You don't have to pay just to be a subscriber, right? That kind of makes sense. And then on the right-hand side are the partners. And these are all the people that have resources that are available to business owners. Okay. So like I say, this is like a place where if the business owner comes to it, kind of becomes their place where they go for everything. That's the goal. Like if I'm going to look for something, I'm going to go here. I'm a business owner, I should go here first because it's all here. That's the goal. That's the hope, right? Now, my philosophy too with my clients is we think big, like really big, like crazy big, and then knowing, okay, we're going to start small. So what I'm describing to you right now is this crazy big idea. Okay. Like I'm not holding back on it. And then we'll start small. Whatever we're capable of doing this week will be version 1. But I'm also thinking ahead and saying my vision can include things that AI can't necessarily do right now, but it'll probably be able to do next year or the year after that. I can have that in my idea. I don't have to be limited to what it can do today because it's an ever evolving technology that is not, it's not slowing down. It's just going to get more and more capable, right? Now, the other principle of this too is that I'm going to use the AI to build it, as I already have, right? It's going to build everything, and AI is going to run everything. So they're not going to be any employees. Okay. I'm not against having employees. Okay. But in this case, the sort of idea I'm trying to go for is the only person that'll be involved, human in a way, will be me. Okay. As the business. Everything else will be AI. Okay. And eventually maybe there'll be some employees, but I'm not going to think about that right now. So we just have the AI will run the whole thing. But the other thing that'll happen is that the AI will constantly be improving it. So it'll never be a static thing. So part of the super brain is that it's thinking about how to improve itself as well. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to use these tools, the ones that I've identified on here so far. Okay. So at the top, those are ones that are going to be used for the creation of it and kind of the marketing of it. ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Notebook LM, Google Vids, which will be used to make videos that will go, talk to people in this. Lemon Slice, which now has interactive avatars, which I'm going to show you in a second. Love Art, which is going to create all the branding, and Wix, which will be the landing page essentially for this, or at least the kind of website, if we have a website per se, but Wix will be the website. Okay, so those are the kind of overarching tools so far. Now, as I say, we're going to find more and more tools as I spend time researching all this week. But now, the super brain is the part that's the most interesting part for me. Okay, so what's going to happen is, and you can tell me, give me feedback. Maybe I'm completely off track. I don't know, but the idea will be that it'll be a collective wisdom source. Okay. So what will happen is anyone that's willing to participate in this, I'll try to get this set up today so you can do this maybe tomorrow, is you'll come on and you'll say, I want to be a participant in this. So you have to be willing to do it and say, I'll participate in this. So what that means is that an AI will interview you, and it will be trained to interview in a certain way to kind of extract all the wisdom that you've gained from being a business owner. Okay. So how long have you been in business for? I've been in business 20 years. What have you learned in that time? Kind of a general question. What are the biggest mistakes you made? And what did you learn from that? If you were to go back 20 years and to tell yourself what to do and not do, the future self or past self, what would you tell that past self? Questions like that, right? So it's going to be like take an hour to extract the wisdom from you. Okay. So then what that would do is go into a database, and the database would then have all the people in there that participated. So anyone that has contributed their wisdom will then be able to access the collective wisdom for free, never have to pay anything. Okay. So more, and that'll be a network effect. So I call it wisdom scaling, because the more people that input their wisdom, the more people, the more wise the whole brain gets, and the more useful it is for people. Like you're saying, well, what should I do here? I'm thinking getting a partner and doing this and that. What should I do? You ask the wisdom, the brain, and it tells you, well, you should do this. Okay. Based on this is what happened to people. This is what to look out for, and so on. This kind of wisdom that not on the internet necessarily in any useful way right now. So the principle there is to think about, if you were to set up an AI business, what would be the information or the data or the wisdom that I would want to capture from the people that are participating in it? It'd be the most useful thing, right? So then every time the interview happens and we get the information, then the AI will take that information and start to sort it out into context of wisdom chunks and say, okay, and start to find patterns in it. So essentially becomes a training model for this group of people. Now you might say, well, I'm not going to spend an hour talking to the AI and giving them all my wisdom. Okay, fine. Okay, you don't have to participate. That's fine. But somebody says, no, you know what? I'm willing to put my 2 cents in to get out all this other wisdom from everybody else. Like that would be the arrangement, you see. And it would be all private, and no one would know that you were the one that gave any particular advice. It wouldn't say Bob said this or Joe said this. It's not going to be like that. Okay, so it's just this kind of mutual agreement that we're all going to help each other. Now, the other thing though is if someone doesn't want to put their wisdom in, or isn't ready because they've only been in business for a year, not really applicable, then they will pay to be in there. Okay, so to be able to use the brain. So that's one place I could see monetizing this, right? So people say, well, I'd really like to access that brain and ask it some questions. Okay, well, yeah, you can pay. So subscription. So we'll see if anybody would want to pay, but that's the idea. But it would certainly be useful for everybody that's involved anyway. Now, the other thing is that when people come on and they join the network and they say, yeah, I'm willing to tell you information about myself, like something, maybe not the whole wisdom thing, but I'll give you a bit of information. Then what the AI will do, the brain will say, okay, that's great. We have 10,000 people in this network. You should, meet these other people in the network. They would be good people for you to know, because you could maybe do some kind of entrepreneurial thing together. And you should use these partners. Here's some resources. Here's a video you should watch. Here's a PDF you should read. Here is a company you should use as a supplier. So what it would be doing is connecting people together. I have a network that we created called the Sturdy McGee and I don't know if he's here. We created this thing called the 10% Speaker Network. And we've been doing that for quite a while. There's about 700 members in it. And we have an AI agent that goes out and connects the members together. So it looks through the database. It says, you two should meet. And it connects them together by an email. And then if they want to, they can get together and each other. But the AI figures out why they should meet and explains them why they should meet. So I've tested that out. And that's something that the AI agents are capable of doing. So some of the tools that we're going to use for this are Lindy agent, which you can create AI agent. So that's my go-to one for that. Okay. Typeform, Airtable, those things are, I can show them. They're just kind of nuts and bolts. Google Sheets, Google Email, Gmail. And then for the brain, Lovable was going to be the kind of core system I'm going to use to design the whole brain, basically. The whole brain will be designed to run through Lovable. So Lovable is a platform where you can basically just go on and tell Lovable, this is what I want, and it will build you a whole platform. You could say, I would like to have a platform like YouTube. Build me YouTube. Call it BuildTube, and it basically will build you a whole platform that will run like YouTube. That's why you don't really want to be in the a little side. You don't really want to be in the software business right now, because you build some amazing software, and then somebody looks at it and goes, dude, sets the level. Can you build me a copy of that? Just build a copy of that in like 20 an hour. Like it's really, really kind of scary that way. So basically don't do that. This is not a software program. Okay. This is a platform. So anyway, use Lovable to create this. So that's going to be something that I'll show you tomorrow, because this afternoon I'm going to build this brain, hopefully as much as I can. And then tomorrow I will show you how that works and how I did it, and then how you could do something like that too. Okay. And the thing about the Lovable is that what I'm going to do is use ChatGPT and Gemini, and maybe Claude as well, Anthropic Claude, to write the prompt, which will be quite detailed, that I will then give to Lovable. I'll say, here's the prompt, build it. So I'll just describe this all to those other platforms. It'll make the prompt, they'll make the prompt collectively, and then we will use Lovable to make the brain. Like literally every aspect of it, right? How it collects the information, how it does the interviews, how it signs people up to it, how it parses that information, how it gives people access to the wisdom, how it charges them for it. That'd be another one I'll just put down here. I can connect it to Stripe as well. Whoop, I can't even spell Stripe. By the way, I'll give you a little tip. The number one AI by far, the one that's changed my life more than anything, if you're not using it right, it's called WhisperFlow. I can't type anymore. My fingers aren't typable. So basically, I don't type that much anymore. I just use WhisperFlow. I just talk and it types everything for me. And it's not just a dictation, it's an AI dictation. So it kind of cleans up anything I've said as well. You might want to check that one out. I'll send you a link to it if you want at the end. Anyway, WhisperFlow. Typo. Yeah, I can't type. All this was hand typed. Okay. And what else would there be? No, that's about it. Okay. So, does anybody have any questions about this? I'll just say one last thing before you ask me. The whole point of me showing you this and doing this is to give you an example of what you could do. Okay. So I just want you to really understand that. And this could be kind of advanced. Okay. Like this is maybe taking it pretty far, but I think we might as well start with that. I'm pushing the envelope of what I know here. Right. And that's on purpose because I want to learn. But that's what maybe will give you an aha and say, oh, I could build this. It could be completely different. This obviously. Your big idea might be totally different. But don't get hung up so much on the technology I'm showing you. Those are just tools, right? It's like you don't want to just go out and buy home hardware and buy a bunch of tools, and now you've filled your garage with tools if you don't have any idea what you're going to build, right? So you think, what am I going to build? I'm going to build this house, this amazing house. Okay, now I go to home hardware. I know what the tools to buy, and now those tools are useful, right? So that's why this can give this a lot of direction. So thoughts, ideas, suggestions here. What do you think of all that? Do I sound like a crazy man or what? Nope. My wife thinks I'm a crazy man, so she knows me better though.
Yeah, I just have to say I'm extremely excited about this, Bill.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I've been working on. So I
Yeah.
digitize buildings, and my whole view now is that you'll be able to talk to your building using AI, and or any of the occupants in the building can make requests about the building, or you can monitor how their production is and make the building adjust to the people within the building. So I see this as a huge opportunity for me to tap into all kinds of different tools that a building owner could use, or the occupant within the building could use, or a
Yeah.
supplier in the ecosystem of that building could use. So all of them being able to have a much better understanding of buildings. So,
Well,
uh,
yeah, because the building will have a super brain.
yeah, yeah, it will be able to talk
Right.
to all the occupants or the suppliers coming in
Yeah.
or the building owner to alert them that, a lease is coming up,
Yeah.
or even talk to the other buildings in its portfolio of buildings to get some ideas from other buildings as to, how do we get the best deal on carpet? We all need carpet. How about we send out an RFP and get carpet for all the buildings? So
Well,
I think
that's the
this
idea of the
is
wisdom scaling.
Yeah,
So,
this is
so through
amazing.
this work in the last couple of weeks, I thought, you know what, this is like scaling your business, but scaling it, the wisdom of the network, right? And so that term kind of jumped out at me, and I thought, okay, I'm onto something there. This is what we're actually doing here with this, and that became the principle behind it. So I think that that's a business model that's made possible by AI, wisdom scaling. Like
Bill,
it was like, like ride sharing was made possible by, people, the internet, smartphones, and apps, right? Like those three technologies enabled Uber or Lyft or something, right? So with AI, you think, well, it's an intelligence thing. So what if we were to do it to scale wisdom?
Bill, you had shared that with me. I believe it was on Friday,
Yeah.
and it is absolutely so spot on because it's. I think how you described it is we live in a world of information, and the information is just on overload. But what you cannot scale is experience. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot scale the wisdom that comes from experience. And what you're describing here is the opportunity to take that little niche in my world and continue to add and build that wisdom and make that available to other people that are part of the network. And I mean, that's to me, that's like a missing link. And to be able to talk this out with somebody who may not be very up to speed when it comes to AI and technology, but they
Yeah.
do understand wisdom. They do understand having that trusted quote unquote advisor, if you will. And this plays all the way into that. So for what that's
Mm-hmm.
worth, I
Mm-hmm.
it's just, I love it.
Yeah, I mean that's often why like we don't want an employee that's worked with us forever to leave because there might be someone else that actually has a higher education and but maybe even more energy, but that person has all this wisdom that they have just embedded in them. That, oh no, you don't do it this way, you do it that way. Like it's that needs to be, if we can get more and more of that extracted, the better. But do it. So in your case, it's in the specialized packaging industry. There's so much wisdom there, and if you can start to organize that into a collective brain, right? Then that's going to be infinitely valuable to so many people, and that'll be your equity, right? That's your equity. I mean, you're as the owner of the platform. Sure, it's co-op, so everybody gets to share it, but you're the owner of it. You have the equity in it, right? You're the one that controls that platform. Um, so what about who else could let's see? What about Sue? What do you think? What do you think about what I was saying there?
I think it's really cool, and it's got my brain going a mile a minute, I think. And it's funny because just this morning we had done we do that building condomunity sort of
Yeah,
idea, and we
right.
send out different campaigns to different buildings onto the elevator screens. But
Yeah,
this makes me think, just the other day after your first video for this whole big idea AI Super Week, I went on Gemini and I
yeah,
asked Gemini to tell me how many particular notices had been created for a particular building
yeah,
over 2025. So it says something
right.
like 245 notices. But now I'm thinking, okay, I could go in and ask it to say what most of those notices were about. For
Yeah.
example, oh, we had 20 water shutoffs and 5 don't jam the garbage chutes or whatever. And then AI could generate the campaign instead of us doing it, because we got it wrong this morning with one client. They were like, oh, that doesn't really apply to us. And I'm like, oh no, tell the people not to put that on the screens. But if it was an AI agent doing it, it would know that topic wasn't relevant. The AI would build the communication campaign and build community based on the past years of work. Like I've got, years and years of examples. So
yeah,
I think that might work as a hub, or am I not thinking
no, that's it. Yeah. So,
focused?
I mean, there might still be some human oversight about the final word on it, but I think that what you might think about, the big idea here, is that the AI brain, okay, is say, I'm trying to train an AI to what's the best way to build community in a condo.
In that building, yeah.
Well, in a building generally, but then also in this particular building specifically. Okay, so that would be the wisdom to say, what is the communication? It's sort of propaganda in a way, but we won't think of it that way. But it's like, how can we communicate with people in these buildings in the best way to get them to react and change their behavior in a certain way and their attitudes towards the building and everything else. Get it to start thinking about that objective, because you are, but that's what will make it really smart, because it'll start saying, well, the best way to do that is this. And then what it learns from all the buildings then can be applied to the other buildings, but also then says, okay, but every building's different too. So you got to get to know the building and then apply the general wisdom to a specific local knowledge or local wisdom that would make it. So that to sum that up is say, give the AI the job to build condommunity.
Right.
That it's always thinking about how to do that. So my big BBS is the AI's job is to, that's what I got it talking about, right? When I went to walk the dog. What's the best way to make this happen? Right. The other thing that I didn't talk about in the process, that there's a process. So I'm just calling it the next level process. But once the person joins the big BBS super hub, right? And then there's the super brain, is that the AI is also going to coach the business owner through a process to help them go to the next level. So the job I'm going to give it is always be thinking about, how do you help a business owner go to the next level?
So I would apply that same thing to how would I apply a board of directors to think about building community in there.
Right. Okay, if you just say, well, what business am I really in? So BBS business, what business is that really? It's to help a business owner get to the next level with their business, right? So the whole system, the AI that's its mandate, is to help them do that. Take them through a process. Use this collective wisdom to do that. I always keep improving yourself to do that. Right?
Cool.
We're in a really exciting time, because you can say, this is the purpose I'm trying to help people achieve, humans, and I'm going to get the AI, I'm going to direct it to do that. It's a problem right now. Everybody's thinking, oh, I can do this horrible thing. Well, it's because, bad people have figured out a purpose for it. But now it's say, well, if I had that really good purpose and I get it to thinking about that, it'll do that too. And it'll take that on, So let me show you a couple other things. Good. We got the conversation going here. Yeah.
And Bill, just to interrupt there, if most of us don't have two iPads to tell one to talk to the other, I think Michael mentioned, do we just like copy and paste from one, but then do you have to keep copying and pasting? How do you get Gemini?
Oh yeah, that might be a little hard too.
Okay.
Your phone and your computer.
Oh, so if you had a tablet, yeah, you could, yeah, I guess so, and put them on
you can do voice to.
You can actually hear your devices speaking.
Yeah, you can talk to your. I mean, the phone and the iPad are custom built for talking to an AI, right? But I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, that you can talk to the AI on a browser as well, or at least it's desktop app. desktop app. So you could have the two talk to each other, yeah. Or you can cut and paste, you know, because really it is. I had it talk for. I say, tell me everything you think about this. I mean, that was a precursor anyway. I'd say, you know, tell me what you think, ChatGPT. It gives me a long commentary, and then I take that commentary and I drop it into Google Gemini. What do you think? Gives me a commentary. Then I put it into Claude. What do you think? And I just get different takes on it, right? So I was basically doing that through text. So if you don't want to do the talking, was just kind of a fun thing to do, really.
Yeah, that's cool.
You
okay,
know, it was fun. The other thing though, was even funnier though, is I had three at first. I had Claude as well going. Okay, advisor number 3. But advisor number 3 could never get to understand what was going. I always wanted to be advisor number 1. I say, you're not advisor number 1, you're advisor number 3, and stop talking right now. Stop interrupting people like the other AIs. And it couldn't do it. It kept interrupting. It kept saying, I'm advisor number 1. So I said, you're cut off. You're out. You're not a good team member. You can. Oh no, don't cut me off. No, I'm sorry. I have to. I'm sorry that you got mad at me. Actually, it was fun. Anyway, okay. So this is Notebook LM. So I don't know how many of you know this particular thing, but this is free. So just there's no reason not to use this at all. This is amazing, Notebook LM. It's a Google thing. So if you have a Google account, you can get Notebook LM. Just log in with your Google account. And so what I've done here is everything that we're going to access here. So different YouTube videos that I've watched already. Yesterday, I started watching the YouTube videos because so I'm going to. So if I have something I want to learn, I'll go on YouTube, see if I can find it, watch the video, and then I'll put the link in Notebook LM, which essentially means that now all the information in that YouTube video is part of this knowledge base. Okay, so everything we're going to learn this week from all those things are going to be put in there. Plus, some of the documents that were written by the AIs I've already put in there. So you can ask it anything. Like you can say, for example, what I got to type what video apps are good with AI. I don't know if that's the right wording. It says checking your uploads, checking your files. Get that in a second. Come up with something. Where is it? Go back to the bottom. Still looking there. Okay, so we'll wait a second. I don't know why it keeps going back to the top. Should have started a new chat, I guess. Where are we? Audio for video. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so here's Google Notebook 3 video overviews. We got Studio. So it's got an answer, right? Opal is another one. So this will be good. So as we get more and more, this is a collective brain. This is what we're practicing, what we're preaching here right now. Okay. So what I'm going to do is share that with you. Okay. And let's see, I'll give access to anyone with a link. Okay. Now let's see what happens. Okay. This is also an experiment. I'm going to send you that link in the chat here. Okay. Group. So I think you probably have to have an Notebook LM account to get in, but once you log in, I think you'll be able to get access to this. Okay. And what I'll just go here just so I can show you what I've done. So I've created another one for the big BBS Super Hub. Okay. And so all the planning and all the information I got from the AIs and the discussions around that I put into this one. So this is the actual thing we're building, right? And then I was able to create those videos. So I'll just this is the most incredible thing, really, I think. So you can put information in there about stuff that you're interested in or you've written or whatever else. And then you can say, I want to create a video. And you click on this video overview and you click on this. It'll take a minute. And then it made that video.
All right. Today we're diving into something big, a new solution to a problem that literally every entrepreneur faces, finding advice that you can actually trust. we're going to break down the big BBS superbrain, a system that's designed.
There you go. So what's really neat is that when you create your own content around this stuff, and then it makes the video, it's like, how did it do that? Like really, like it really understood what I was talking about. It created something that can explain it to other people. The general idea of this is, like they say, an explainer video. It's explaining something, right? So if you have something you're working on, you have your big idea for the future, and I want to get people on board and explain it to them, then go, okay, work with the AI to write the text around it. Take that text, put it in a notebook LM, and then do an explainer video like this one. And you could use that to explain it to people. So I did one on the super brain, the super hub, and wisdom scaling as a general concept. I'll just send you those links now. So those, whoops. You want to check those out. Oops, here we go. Too many things on my screen here. Yeah, so that you can watch those videos if you want, just to get an idea. If you haven't watched them already, this is essentially the project that I'm working on here. You can also do audio overviews, which are really fun. They're like podcasters talking to each other about your thing. We use that for a lot of different stuff. So I would suggest that one's a no-brainer to get, right? Because it's, like I say, it's, if you have a Gmail account, which usually you do, most people do, you've got free access to this. There's no fees. I've never had a fee. Although I do have a pro account with Gemini, so maybe I got extra things for that. I don't know. Okay, now the other thing is that everything that all the videos and everything that I'm going to be looking at during the week, I'm going to put in here. So it says Big Idea AI Super Week Learning. Okay, so I've got 3 videos in there right now. One about Gemini, one about all kinds of different Gemini tools, and how to use ChatGPT better. Okay, so those are just the first 3. I watched those yesterday. So what you can do, and this is on a thing, this is the Big Idea Future Network. This is the hub for the week, really, right there. So if you want to get access to that, just click on that and just register for that. That's free too, right? So and the primary use of it is these videos. And then the other thing is when the recordings of these meetings will also be put in there. So the day's meeting will get put in the second one here. Big Idea Super Week Zoom meetings, put those in there. Okay, so that's where you can get everything. And there's other videos on here too that were created before, like the AI show and tell meetings. Like if you want to go back into our archives and watch those, you can. Like there's so many different things, and there's stuff on AI agents and this one and so on. So there's lots of future of AI. So there's lots of content there if you want to learn. And I think that's really one of the most important things that I can leave you with today. Is you don't have to be an early adopter. You don't have to start changing your whole business around or anything, but you definitely can't hurt to be an early learner. So that's why you've got an advantage here by coming today, because you're going to be way ahead of everybody else for sure, right? Now there's one other thing too, which is kind of fun. Let me just give you the link to that one too. This one you got to bookmark this. Okay. Check this out. Like this is literally hot off the press because I didn't even know that Lemon Slice could do this. But it's called Billy AI. Okay. And I don't know if I can do this. So it's just a landing page on my website right now. But if you click on there where it says join.
Hi there. I'm Billy AI, Bill Bishop's AI avatar for the Big Idea AI Super Week. You can ask me questions about AI in general, the big BBS Super Hub, and wisdom scaling. What would you like to know?
Okay.
Hi there.
Oh,
I'm Billy AI.
He doesn't stop.
Bill Bishop's
Okay.
AI avatar for the Big
What
Idea
is
AI Super Week. You can ask me questions about
What
AI
is,
in general,
I can't type,
the
it's
big BBS
lost the ability.
and wisdom
The
scale.
super
What would you like to
weak.
know?
What is the super weak? Let's
Hi
see.
there. I'm
See what happens. Okay. So I supposedly you're able to talk to it, but I haven't been able to get that to work yet. But this is like something they
Hi.
just introduced.
I'm Billy AI. Super Week is a focused time box sprint where entrepreneurs use the big BBS Super Hub to push a single highest leverage goal to the next level. It combines a clear next level plan, daily AI coaching and accountability, and access to community and partners to remove blockers fast. The aim is momentum and measurable progress in a short, intense window, then rolling those gains into your ongoing plan. Want help scoping your super week objective?
I like the British accent. I think that's great. I should have been born with the British accent. Anyway, so that's an interactive AI avatar. So there was a bunch of steps there, but I basically had it create a sort of a cartoon version of me. And then that was the image. And then I said, okay, now turn that into an interactive avatar. And I just put a lot of the content that was created by the AI about all this and put that into its knowledge base. So you can ask it questions, but it kind of conflated a few things, but it was interesting anyway. Not quite ready for prime time. I don't know, but that's the future too. So what I see with the big BBS is that you'll come on, and there'll be Billy AI or whatever, and Billy AI will say, okay, welcome to the big BBS Super Hub. Tell me about you. And you'll have a conversation with it. All that information will be gathered, right? And say, okay, and do you want to be part of the wisdom archive? Sure. Okay, here, I'll direct you there. You know what? You're looking for a marketing agency. Okay, well, we have marketing agencies in our resource network. You should contact these 3 people. Here, I'll send you an email. Like, that's all coming. Like, it'll just be, you won't be interacting with text, or even just with a, voice. You'll be interacting with a embodied avatar, and that will be the representation of the brain of the whole thing, right? Not able to do that exactly today, but if you just think ahead, then you go, that's all going to happen. Now, back in the day when I wrote my book, Strategic Marketing Digital Age, that was in 1995. And I did a lot of talks, and I said, well, not very long now, you're going to be able to just go on your TV and just pick any movie in the world to watch, and you'll just watch it. And people went, you can't do that. That'll never happen. The internet's so slow. I tried to download a video from my friend, and it took like half an hour to download the 5-minute video. I'm going, okay, I know right now but the internet will get faster. The algorithms will get compression. Algorithms will get better. And eventually that'll be easy. I don't know. Right. So we have to break through that barrier and say, aim for what is going to be, not for what is right now, because you want to be ready for when it is, like you want to be the one that's, oh, great, pull that in. Now I'm going to have a talking avatar that's interactive. My knowledge base, right? You get that? So what do you think so far? We get on the right track?
Bill, can I ask you a question? It's Ricky.
Hi, Ricky.
I'm looking I'll give you an example, and the question will be at the end.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now at a 70 or 80 acre parcel of land in Missouri. As you know, I'm in Scottsdale.
Right.
I want to put in, and I was starting to put in this morning, a prompt with a ton of the information, what I want to come back ultimately from them, but it's going to have information on a piece of land I haven't tied up yet. I'm just trying to look at. That's going to then be going into the system. Is there any way of, we developers are very nervous about telling anybody else what we're looking at. Is there a way of protecting that?
What platform are you using?
At the moment, I'm using Perplexity.
Complexity. Yeah, I'm not sure about complexity. I know with ChatGPT, there's a setting there where you can say, please do not share this, my chats with the training to be used with training data. So, that's sort of, questionable whether that is going to completely protect you. But I don't know. I think that there's so much information that's out there. I just don't really think that, knock on wood, that you really need to worry about that too much. I think it's a little overblown myself, quite honestly. Like, there's billions of users every day and all this information, right? And I don't know if there's somebody's going to turn around and say, no, I'm going to take that piece of land ahead of you. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know.
Thank you.
I'm not the lawyer. Don't.
No, I'm well, right, I am.
Yeah. Well, I know exactly. So, I mean, it's a fine line between being hesitant and just saying, hey, no, it's okay. I don't mind, mind sharing this because.
But if I am doing that independently between with one or with two connected, advisor one and advisor two,
yeah,
that would, is that also worldwide?
Well, you can strip out the details, right? Like you can strip out certain information that you just don't want to share, like the name or the location of the property or something.
Well, that's the problem. What I need to know is exactly about the location of the property.
Okay, well then you don't want to strip that out, right? So,
okay.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the reason for the question.
I just don't think a competitor would be able to get to your learning on that. I don't think that's going to happen.
I would agree with that for the most part.
Yeah. So
appreciate it.
It's, why do we wear seatbelts? It's not because I'm going to have a car accident. I could have one. So, it's like, you're going to be careful. But it's not mean you're going to not drive, right?
Appreciate what you're doing. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anyone have any questions? What about Fred? Fred, how you doing?
Hi there. It's been a while.
Taking away from this. Yeah. Good to see you. Happy New Year.
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, I've been facing eyes into this in a major way with two sides of my commercial life. Still with the, I go back and I think of your analogy of hammers, and and if the only thing you had was a hammer, you treat everything as a nail. and so and but I have learned a lot about the whole exclusive use common area exterior space in high-rise condominium communities. So I've gone very deep into that. And I've identified we've worked in over 40 buildings here in Toronto, and I think half a dozen buildings in Vancouver. So that is our current sort of olfactory that is being rapidly been switched into a new factory enterprise, and it's really exciting because I'm doing some of the things that you've talked about here today. I've been into that, but I've one of the things I'm really interested in is a book that I've just read called The Fourth Turning by a fellow by the name of Neil Howe. And I started to read it, and it was such a tome, such a big, thick book that I actually I have a book review, and I asked ChatGPT to do a synopsis and a summary of it for me, go right through it. And one of the things that, we're in what we call the fourth turning, which is a crisis period where institutions are being rebuilt and people are very risk averse. Clients want certainty, structure, and guidance, not inspiration alone. And I've asked it to my conversations with Gemini and with ChatGPT to say, okay, extract what does that mean in terms of society today and the people who I'm serving? How is that going to affect how I position it, the business models, and I find it really, really cool. It's completely changed my perspective. The sociology of this, you can't, divorce yourself from the sociological, societal kind of conditions that we're dealing with, and this new technology. I mean, it's an amalgam of both of them having to come together. And I think building a business without some acknowledgement of that is a fool's game, basically, right?
Yeah, no, that's really good. Yeah, The Fourth Turning is an amazing book. My wife and I both read it. It's a very important book, actually. Gives you some kind of bigger perspective on the whole thing, that's everything that's going on right now. And I think you're right. I think that's part of the wisdom that you want to include in your super brain for your
Yeah.
business, right? I think it's a funny term, super brain, but I think that's all what all of us need to be building for our own company. But
Yeah.
also, if you could create one that could be used by your customers, then that would be really amazing, right?
Yeah.
So we start thinking about what that really looks like, you know. But you've just done that. You've synthesized your knowledge and experience with the fourth turning, right?
Absolutely.
And then
And I've
also with ChatGPT or whatever. That
yeah, ChatGPT and
does this
Gemini.
all? How does this all fit together now?
Well, it's uh, well, just first off, we're facing eyes right in the middle of a crisis economy,
Yeah.
and I've stopped in some respects listening to social media because I just find it so caustic my brain, and
Mhm.
I find I've been monitoring my state of mind after I read and look at ingest some of this social media dribble, and I realized this is not good for me. And so I stopped doing that. But it has changed it. So the Beautiful Life program and the platform,
Mhm.
everything that I've been building on that
Yeah.
is I realize that that is not aligned in some respects with the collective mindset of where people are. I mean, you would think that beauty is such an important thing, especially in the time of such profound ugliness and
Yeah.
chaos and crisis. But people are moving into seeking, a regulated, risk managed asset completion, permanence, the whole institutions are going through a profound shift and change. So as I shift my business from balconies and terraces, and I'll never give that up, but I mean,
Yeah.
when I move into more of the beautiful life,
Mhm.
we've found that beauty and beautiful life has gotten if you start to Google it, you find that it's more dealing with cosmeticians or people that are dealing with, fingers and toes and nails and getting your nails clipped and your cosmetics and whatever. And I said, oh, geez, that doesn't work at all.
Yeah.
So what we've done is we've taken the whole thing in from a landscape. I'm a landscape architect from a landscape point of view and a garden's perspective. There's a structure called Belvedere, which is a structure that is on a hill that has a commanding view. So we took our spaces of balcony and terraces are on the sides of buildings or on the tops of buildings. We took the word Belvedere and we changed the E to an A and we call it Belvedere. Okay. And so it's a place that has a commanding view and it's a beautiful space and whatever. And we call it Belvedere living. And then I took all of our clients, and there's been several hundreds of them, and I did surveys with them and asked them all kinds of interesting questions, a kind of a mind dump from them, three
Yeah.
questions using Typeform. It was a really, really cool. And they confirmed that that was a logical place for us to go in terms of this matching system where they can get design, information, products, and services, everything that they need to help them to complete their beautiful life.
Okay, that's amazing. A whole bunch of amazing things there. I just one thing you might not have considered, I don't know, maybe you did, but that all that information that you got through the type form, okay,
Mhm.
you could have that exported into a Google Sheet if you didn't already,
Yeah, we
okay,
have.
and
Yeah,
then you could have the AI analyze the results, and
yeah,
the more that people that you get to do that's those kind of things, the more information you're getting about what they want and what they need and so on. So that would be a great use of an AI accessing a knowledge base that you have built through these
right,
questionnaires, right?
right. Yeah,
So that's gold actually. Those things.
it is. And so we took, like, we have hundreds of interaction, both videos and surveys. When
Yeah.
somebody comes signs up and say for a discovery call. I used to, interview everybody. Now I have an application process, so they have to apply to work with us.
Okay.
And then it sorts out the wheat from the chaff, so to speak, to the ideal prospects. And I only speak to them, right?
Yeah.
And I only speak to them. And I ask them
There's an onboarding.
and it's an onboarding process. And so we're automating every damn thing that we've done in the past. We separate what we're going to be going forward with in the future. But everything that we've done now is being automated. Everything.
Fantastic. Well, now you're also innovating too. So
Yeah.
it's great. Belvedere.
Belvedere living.
Belvedere living. That's good. It's catchy.
Yeah.
Sounds more lovely.
Cool.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you very much. Good to be back.
Okay, so I'm going to go have lunch, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to build the big BBS platform as much as I can. And when you show up tomorrow, if you can, I will show you what I've created and explain how I did it. And then you can get some ideas from that. And like I say, I encourage you to start thinking about yourself, what your Project 2030 is, like what's your AI business going to look like, and what your big idea is around that. And just start, like I say, start with who do you want to help? Who's your thing? So in my case, it's business owners. And what's the problem I'm solving for them? Well, it's that they have, all this information out there. But when they have to make a decision about something, where do they get good advice to do that? Right. And, how do they get that information? How do they get that wisdom? So that's the problem I'm solving, at least at this point. Okay. All right. So thanks for coming today. And I'll send out this video later this afternoon if anybody wants to look it over again, or the people that didn't come, of course. All right. So we'll see you tomorrow if you're able to make it. All right. Take care. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.